Hi, welcome to another episode of Real Gold, where we discuss classic films' relevance and importance and whether they deserve the awards that they received. I'm your host, Matt Duffy, and today I'm not going to be talking about a classic film, but rather a classic film star. One whose work shined throughout the 1940s and is considered to be one of the most glamorous screen idols in Hollywood. And that is none other than Rita Hayworth.
She is. Now you can see her again. Rita Hayworth. A chicka chick boom.
Rita Hayworth was born Margarita Carmen Cancino on October 17, 1918. Her parents were both vaudeville performers. Her father was a dancer, her mother was a showgirl, so she already had that performing gene in her. And at an early age, she was training to be a dancer. At the age of 5, she starred in her first Broadway show, which is amazing. I mean, I wish I could say the same for myself. And in 1927, her family moved to Los Angeles, where her father opened up a dance studio, and they had hoped for more success. Unfortunately, the Great Depression was looming, and it did not bode well for the Cancinos. So ultimately, in the early 1930s, Margarita teamed up with her father to perform in nightclubs in Tijuana. Margarita was now becoming the breadwinner for her family. So she was performing with her dad, where in the mid-1930s, she was discovered. She was scouted by 20th Century Fox and signed to a short-term contract under the name Rita Cancino. It wasn't until a few years later when she was discovered by Harry Cohn, the studio head at Columbia, where her transformation would begin. She dyed her hair red. She performed electrolysis to raise her forehead because it was too exotic, and began to use her mother's maiden name, which sounded a little more American, hence becoming Rita Hayworth. Now under the watchful eyes of Harry Cohn at Columbia, she got bit parts here and there, and then in 1941 teamed up with Fred Astaire in the film You'll Never Get Rich. In this film, we get to see Rita's dancing talents and capabilities galore. It's essentially a showcase of her and Fred Astaire.
Tommy, let's have the second 24 bars. Ready? 1 and 2 and.
The film was a success and led to another pairing of the duo in You Were Never Lovelier. And even just watching the two of them, they have a great chemistry. There's a maturity and professionalism in both of them, but at the same time, they both complement each other just as well. And it is wonderful to watch. The exuberance that her dancing gives, it's almost like you're seeing the real Rita. You know, this girl, this outspoken, feisty, charismatic woman. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Just watching the two of them, you're like, wow, she's amazing. Fred Astaire, we know him as, Fred and Ginger. He does all these movies with Ginger Rogers. Privately, he has said off the record that his favorite dancing partner is Rita Hayworth. Rita danced with trained perfection and individuality. She was better when she was on than she was at rehearsal. This is her rise. This is her ascension to stardom. These two films are putting her on the mark. Now, at the same time, in 1941, Rita poses in a spread in Life magazine that will make her an icon amongst American males everywhere. One photo specifically shows Rita on her bed wearing a black negligee. It became one of the most requested and frequently produced pinup photos everywhere. She was this all-American girl that every guy wanted and every girl wanted to be or was jealous of. Her star is rising, and it will ultimately come at another high doing Covergirl with Gene Kelly. Here we get to see her with another dancing icon, and it's another showcase for her talent. really, when you watch her, she feels so at ease. Yet at the same time, there is an established feeling there. You don't need to work. Even though she's so young, you feel so comfortable watching her. And it's such a delight. She's fun. She's sexy. She's cool. She's everything. And that's the great part about watching her in Covergirl. The New York Times even says, Miss Hayworth even acts with an enchantment which she has never so capably turned on. Rita is the first of 6 women, and only 6 women, to have worked with Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. She is just so fun to watch. But she really hits her stride with Gilda.
Now they all know that the mighty Johnny Barrow got taken, and that he married
In Gilda, she plays the titular role. She slinks around. She gets to sing, show off her dancing skills. It's everything you want in her. And she's just so fascinating to watch. You can't take your eyes off of her. I have to argue that her entrance is probably the most iconic film entrance in all of history.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me? Sure, I'm decent.
The way she says all these double entendres to Glenn Ford, and just the way she looks at him and then looks at her husband, she is a screen icon. She is a movie star. And it is so fascinating to watch her. And the Put the Blame on Mame scene is just another showcase of her sexuality. You know, she does this striptease in this tight black dress, slinking the glove off of her hand, throwing it to the oogling men in the audience. You're so enamored with her that you can't take your eyes off of her. You know, if you've seen Shawshank Redemption, you know. She is one of the bombshells on the poster. Stephen King, the book is called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Her influence 50 years later is there. Variety says about Gilda, Hayworth is photographed most beguilingly. The producers have created nothing subtle in the production of her sex appeal. And that's probably been wise. And I would wholeheartedly agree. Unfortunately, though, one of the things in Rita's personal life was that she was very shy. She was introverted. And it was almost as if when the cameras turned on, then she became that woman. That's when she became this sexy love goddess. Her personal life did affect her publicity and her career because she was always looking for a man. She was looking for someone to take care of her. Throughout her life, she has 5 husbands. Each one, it almost seems, got progressively worse. More abusive, more demanding, more controlling. Rita Hayworth has the quote where she says, "Men fall in love with Gilda, but wake up with me." Add to the fact that she has Harry Cohn right here with the puppet strings, kind of dominating her every move in her career. She feels trapped. She has a quote where she says, "I am a good and gentle person, but I'm attracted to mean personalities." Her second husband was Orson Welles. They have a daughter. Unfortunately, she just wants this stable life. He doesn't. Then she moves on to Prince Ali Khan. She leaves her career in Hollywood to become a princess. You know, move over Grace Kelly. This is the real OG princess. So she goes to live with him, has a daughter, but she's quiet. You know, she doesn't like his playboy behavior. So we get divorced again. Then she moves on to Dick Haymes, who uses her and abuses her, really. And then she meets James Hill, who is just as unstable. So add to the fact that she's drinking. She has to provide for her 2 daughters now. She has a string of films once she returns to Hollywood in the 50s that are okay. They're not bad. I think over time they've gotten better. You know, she has The Lady from Shanghai, Affair in Trinidad, you know, even Pal Joey. But it's not enough for her. Her negative publicity is affecting her career. And then now going into the 1970s, she starts to forget lines. So people don't want to work with her. And it's all under this guise that, she's a drunk. You know, kick her, I don't want to work with her. It's not until 1980, when she is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, that everything kind of just makes sense. She's not drunk. It just turns out she had early onset. And now because of this diagnosis, she becomes the face of Alzheimer's disease. You know, right as of now, we think of Ronald Reagan as the face of Alzheimer's. But 15 years before him, it was Rita Hayworth. She was the one that put it back on the map. You know, people forgot about it for this long time. And it wasn't until this public figure was diagnosed with it that we have an understanding and an importance for it. Unfortunately, her disease worsens to the point where her daughter has to take care of her. And on May 14th, 1987, Rita Hayworth passes away. In AFI's top 25 female motion picture stars, she comes in at number 19. Unfortunately, she never received an Oscar nomination, and she was nominated for a Golden Globe once, but she really is the kind of film icon that we look at and we remember and we cherish their work and the mark that they left on Hollywood. Just to wrap up, throughout her career, Rita Hayworth was a bright light for many Americans. Her films with Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and her iconic performance in Gilda are just some of the films that showcase her winsome personality, her distinguished looks, and her top-tier talents. So if you ever see a Rita Hayworth film, definitely check it out. You won't regret it. Now I'm going to leave you off with a quote by Ruben Mamoulian. Hayworth moved better than anyone else I have ever seen in a film. The camera responded to her movement as it did to Garbo's intelligence and Chaplin's mind. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little different video, but I'll be back again with another film. Be sure to like, hit subscribe, comment. If you have a suggestion, let me know. You can follow me at MattDuffy33, and I will see you guys soon. Catch you later.